Welcome to a special edition of the Computer Outlook Radio Talk Show with John Iasulo and Sharon Fry. The special editions are brought to you from live remotes at Premier Events. Listen to the interviews as John, Sharon, and their guests introduce to you their latest products and technologies. And now, here are the hosts of the Computer Outlook Radio Talk Show, John and Sharon.
Hello and welcome to the show. This is your host, John Iasulo. Yes, this is the Computer Outlook. This is day 2 of the Impact 2011 from IBM. And we're at the Venetian Resort Hotel Casino. And it is just as busy today as it was. You know, I'm amazed that, last year I think they said they had somewhere around 5,500 people attend this.
Right.
This year they're well over 8,000.
Yeah.
So what's that telling us? That's telling us that, people are ready to do business.
That's right.
The IT industry, as we've been saying for the last couple of years during this wonderful little lull that we've had in the United States called a recession, that the IT industry was going to be the industry that was going to pull us out. And I really believe that from the beginning, and I believe it even more today, and I'm delighted to see so many people here. And the fun part is that we're meeting a lot of interesting companies. Who doesn't want to be associated with a name like IBM?
Oh, definitely.
Any companies out there that wants to make, get a name for themselves, or, the possibility of an acquisition or whatever it comes along those lines is great, and it's wonderful. Mm-hmm. So that's really cool. We are sitting with us Charles R. Rich, Vice President of Marketing and Product Management for Nastel. How you doing?
Hi, I'm doing well. Pleased to meet you, too.
Is it going to be Charles or?
Charlie.
Charlie?
Yeah, that's
Charlie
what they
Rich.
call me.
Charlie says.
Now we can say
Oh, my goodness.
Charlie Rich.
Charlie says. All right.
There's a trip down memory lane.
Yeah. That's actually my favorite candy.
Is it?
Yeah.
Good and plenty.
Oh, yeah, buy my 5-pound bag. Sure.
It reminds me of the movies on Saturday afternoons.
Yeah, there you go. See, a lot of people don't appreciate that stuff. Yeah. I remember when we used to go to movies, and if you went to watch the Dracula movie, Dracula was in a movie house.
Yes.
You went to see the Three Stooges, they were in a movie house.
Oh,
Yeah.
Movie house, not theater.
Yes.
Tell me about Nastel. What's Nastel all about?
Nastel Technologies is a software company.
Okay.
And what we do is we provide software to monitor the performance of business applications, the middleware, like IBM's WebSphere MQ, that interconnects them together, and the transactions that they invoke. Now, these are for large companies where these applications are business critical. And surprisingly enough, these firms don't always have the visibility they need to see exactly where things are now, what's going wrong, and fix it quickly.
Give me an example.
Sure. Common applications are payment or trading applications.
Okay.
So payment might be processed, and a customer might say, gee, I thought my payment was done, yet I haven't heard anything back yet. A call might go into IT, and it's very, very difficult to relate what they're seeing on the IT level to what a customer knows of as a payment, and that customer could be another business.
Right.
Our software is following, if you will, everything that happens in IT, building a map of that, and measuring that against performance. And when there's a problem, it tells you where that is, and it also provides the visibility to explain why something went wrong. Now, what makes it really interesting and adds another dimension, we built something called a complex event processing engine. And that sounds very complicated, but really it's a way that we can predict problems. Because if you think of a timeline of cost, as soon as a problem occurs, that's the least cost and the least impact. As time goes on, the users are impacted.
Compounds, doesn't it?
Yeah, they think of it as a cascading problem. Mm-hmm. Like in a utility or anything, starts off small, it gets worse and worse and worse. Well, the best thing to do from a business perspective is to find that early, before there's impact to the user, the business process, the firm,
Sure.
the partners. What we built into this allows our customers to predict a problem. And in this way, they can minimize the damage and even prevent the impact.
It's amazing to me. Here comes one of my Yogi Berra things. Okay? As I sit
Yogi
down,
Bear or Yogi Berra?
Yogi Berra. I'm sitting, I'm listening to what you're saying, and my mind is going, and I'm saying, we go through such evolutions in our life, in the business world, mm-hmm. in particular. Now we're so high tech. But what you basically just said is, in the old days, what people used to say is, keep your dirty laundry in your own house. And that's what you're doing for customers, aren't you? You're letting them find their problems before it gets out to the public.
In a way, that's a very good way to describe that. That's really true.
Yeah.
It's It's not necessarily the embarrassment. Certainly in a regulatory environment it could be.
Sure.
But it's the cost. The meter, think of it as the meter. You're in a taxi cab, and this is ticking. Except the cost, instead of being $5, $10, is $1 million, $2 million.
Yeah.
We've had customers that have lost multi-million-dollar orders.
Oh.
Now, the embarrassment's one thing, because that causes customer...
But the financial
friction.
impact.
The financial impact. Because
yeah.
it isn't just bad to lose it. The longer you've lost it, it just gets worse.
And you don't get it back.
That's right.
You don't get it back. Because usually, with the world as we see it today, and the competition, as you're well aware of out there, and what's going on out in the world, you got one shot. If you don't get that shot, if you don't take care of it the first time, you're done. Right.
And not only have you lost that order, but any future orders from that customer.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'll tell you, it's very interesting. This falls into what I call visibility. Now, if you don't mind, I'll give you a little anecdote. When I was a young kid, I had trains. And I wasn't very good at putting this together, but the trains would go into a tunnel and invariably not come out. Probably because I didn't nail them down very well. But in order for me to figure out what...
Do we need to call the FBI on you?
No, these were HO trains.
Okay.
So invariably, to find out what was going on, I'd have to pick up that tunnel and go, oh, it came off the rail or it disconnected or whatever.
Right.
Well, the same thing happens in IT. There are areas where it's opaque, and they have no idea. So a transaction goes in. If it comes out, well, everything's fine. If it comes out on time, it's fine. But when it doesn't, they don't know.
Right.
So they get everybody in a room, high-priced folks, and they have a session.
And they say, what happened?
And except these sessions can last 17 hours.
Yeah.
Because everyone's going, well, it's not the web. It's not the network.
Yeah.
It's not the app server. It's not this. However, applications don't care about silos. They span across, just like my train did. And you need to have visibility everywhere. And the surprising fact is these firms don't. They have great depth of visibility in certain silos, but in other areas, what's the saying? It goes dark.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It goes dark. So what our software does is it provides that light.
That's cool. I'm like it's simple.
I like the way you put that. Mm-hmm.
That's simple. The way you just described it now, it's simple.
Good.
So you're there and you want to be something before they put the Band-Aid on a cut.
Yes.
You want to prevent the cut.
We don't want you to get hurt.
Yeah,
That's right.
There you go. There you go. You don't want that cut to happen in the first place, do you?
Yes. You got it.
Now, how long have you been doing this?
Well, Nastel has been around about 16 years.
Cool.
Our founder, David Mavashev, worked on one of the early ports of IBM MQ series to a mainframe operating system, and he realized right away, this is really interesting software and it's going to be widely used, but there's nothing out there to monitor or manage it. And his idea was, let's start a company with that as the original goal. And he was successful, branched out to support lots of middleware, Java mainframe applications, such as CICS or KICS, and has been very successful in building a company to provide that visibility and that way of preventing problems.
Now, are you part of the IBM family?
You bet. You bet. We're an advanced partner for IBM.
Okay.
We're also a member of the WebSphere Global User Community and the WebSphere User Group. And we also belong to something called Destination Z.
Ooh.
And
that sounds like Area 51 out here.
I can't say any more or I'll get in trouble.
Yeah, we're both going to die now.
Right. But you can see here, though you won't see it on the radio, the pin. And this is from it's a new group. Right now it's IBM and business partners only, but it's growing later this year, I believe, to include customers as well. And it's a way to bring together into community folks who use the IBM mainframe. Because you might think that's old technology, but it's not. That's a very, very powerful server providing tremendous value, and vendors like Nastel and others that support that are meeting together and try to further its growth. So we work very closely with IBM in a number of ways.
So even though mainframe technology is old in that it's been around a long time, it's not obsolete.
Oh no, it's getting better every day. And Nastel monitors applications that run in that environment, which helps in us being a close partner and providing value to IBM customers.
Now, you used a term earlier, middleware.
Mm-hmm.
Can you kind of describe that to some of our listeners that maybe have not
Absolutely.
grasped that?
Well, you think of software and applications, and, we all think of something I'm going to run on my PC, or something that's got a screen, or I look at a user interface. Mm-hmm. And they have that in business as well. Imagine someone trading stocks.
Right.
I've been on trading floors. While much of it, or many, kinds of it are done programmatically, they still a trader sit in front of a screen and says, I'm going to trade this many shares. So they have that as well. But those applications perform a business function, like execute a trade. Mm-hmm. You then have, lower than that, operating systems that run AIX or ZOS in the mainframe, and they make sure that all of the hardware runs well.
Okay.
Middleware is the layer that's in between. It makes what the application wants to accomplish for the business work when it talks to the computers that run underneath it.
Okay.
So think of it as 3 layers. Operating systems and networks are keeping the computers running. Up at the top, you've got your business applications, and those two need to talk to each other. Think of it as mediation.
Okay.
Very
So
good.
to bring those 2 layers together and make it work effectively, that's what middleware is.
Ready for another yogi?
Yep.
You bet.
It's the cream between the Oreo cookies.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you know that's the best part.
That's right. What's everybody doing? They get an Oreo.
Of course.
Take off the chocolate, take off the vanilla, and just eat the cream, right?
Now we may be prejudiced at Nastel, but we think middleware is the most important.
Love it.
It's
I
the
love
cream
it.
in the Oreo, as you say.
So how has the relationship with IBM helped Nastel, or how has Nastel helped IBM?
Well, it's happened in a number of ways. First of all, credibility. To be an IBM partner is a badge of distinction. Not everybody is an IBM partner.
Not everybody has that opportunity either.
That's right. It's not like you can just send in a coupon.
It's got to be very
Right.
powerful. It's got to be very powerful. Hey, I want to be a
I like
partner.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, right. And we've been partners for years. We participate in the Impact shows. We have a solution booth C2, on the solution floor. We also have participated in joint marketing with IBM. We even did development together. IBM has an innovation center.
Yes.
And we worked with them to develop our support for CIC's Transaction Server 4.1.
Wow.
So it's been great. And when in our software, we've made sure that it's compatible with IBM's products. Mm-hmm. So we're certified, ready for Tivoli, ready for SOA. And that way, we assume when we go in, our customers have IBM products, and that we can smoothly interoperate with those.
What did you introduce here at the show?
Glad you asked. We introduced a new product at the show that's called Autopilot On Demand for WebSphere MQ. Now, Autopilot is the family name of our solution. Now, this is very exciting because this is a product that lets the middleware team in most companies enable other users in the corporation to have access to WebSphere MQ data. Now, normally, that's not an easy thing to do. Folks in the line of business, architects, all these other groups, they want this data. It's important because it's, as you say, it's the cream in the Oreo, and they need it. However, the middleware team usually is the one who controls it. So it's a manual, tedious process. We're getting rid of that. Autopilot On Demand for WebSphere MQ allows the middleware team to securely delegate views out. In the cloud terminology, they call this self-service.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, this makes a very interesting thing happen. It's very important here. It's essential in private and virtual private clouds to bring WebSphere MQ in, because this is what lets these large applications function correctly. And it also is the gateway to IBM's mainframe.
Now, private cloud is a cloud that resides inside the company walls, right?
Right. Virtual private cloud is something that emulates that, but it might be within a public cloud environment. But as far as you know...
Which allows you accessibility if you're sitting here in Las Vegas to get back to Melville, New York.
Absolutely.
Okay.
But it provides all the security of a private cloud. So our new offering here lets products like middleware messaging solutions like WebSphere MQ, it enables them for the cloud. It has zero installation. There's no agents to install. It's a web-based user interface. And it comes as a virtual appliance. So there's no installation. You just turn it on, and now suddenly, using the cloud, IBM's legacy products can be accessed by different types of users.
Who made the mistake and called everything in the cloud?
It's a very nebulous thought, but my reasoning's a little cloudy on that one.
Yeah.
You know, every bit of technology comes around and goes around again. One of the things that's very important to remember with cloud is it's not so much as a technology revolution, it's a business change. Because the costing models prior to the cloud were all focused on, well, what does it cost for the infrastructure, the building, the people's salaries? The cloud model is different. The cloud model is pay as you go. And what does it cost to do that transaction?
That's where I see the world going. You just hit it on the head.
And that's what cloud is. You read all kinds of articles that describe all kinds of things, but, well, for example, in the solution I mentioned, Autopilot on Demand for Webster MQ, this lets different users have access to this. And now they can be charged based on what they did, not what it costs to keep MQ running, what it costs to keep a mainframe or distributed servers running.
And it might almost wind up being like Sharon and I were talking about it yesterday. It might be something where you might, have a subscription for a monthly fee, where you can have, and you basically will start to be able to modulate
Yes.
a lot of applications and a lot of things you want to do without actually buying that piece of software or licensing that piece of software, rather, and not being able to operate efficiently. Because this way here, if you want to go on, you want to use it, there's your fee. You want to use it, there's your fee. There's your fee.
Right.
And I think it's
you bring up a good point there, too. Now, what's interesting...
It's got to be more or less expensive in the long run.
Well, yes, because as soon as you don't need it, you stop paying for it.
You stop paying for it immediately.
Right?
Yeah, of course.
So
Like getting out of the cab. Okay, cab, you can go now. I paid my bill.
Now there's something interesting, and there's always something hidden under that you don't always think of. So now that a customer can do that, and don't think necessarily of you or I and a small application. Think of a large institution in a private cloud who now needs to process another 100,000 transactions that day. So they can grow. But what often is forgotten is, what about the solution that's monitoring their performance and providing the visibility? Does it grow just as that application does? So one of the things we've built into our Autopilot solution is the concept of elastic APM, application performance monitoring. So our monitoring solution can transparently grow to handle monitoring the larger applications as they grow to take advantage of the cloud, and then shrink down. Think of it as happening in accordance.
So a lot of the engineering and a lot of the software technology is built into it, so it doesn't require to have the old teams of the coders sitting there. Yeah, man. It's of course, it's a win-win all the way around.
Right. We look at this as being elastic because what we're monitoring is elastic. So what applies to the application has to apply to the monitoring solution. And it can't add additional cost. And that's why I brought up that concept of self-service before. Because that's the key to the cloud. Let's get everybody enabled so they can do it themselves.
Right.
So that way we don't add more cost to deliver more value.
Isn't it a shame when you really sit back and think about it? I mean, we're blessed because we're here.
Right.
And we're understanding and we're learning from people like Charles.
Right.
Charlie.
Right? Charlie works, but Charles works too.
I like Charlie better.
Yeah, me too.
You're more of a Charlie than a Charles.
I think so.
Yeah. You got a Charlie face for the radio. But Sharon, you know what? How many people miss out? Not that they might not use it.
Right.
Like, we'll never have the reason to use his app. Not as of today.
Not directly.
Not directly. But guess what? At least we know about it now.
Right.
And we say, wow, that's the middle layer. That's what's making this happen. It's here. It's the application.
Right.
The operating system. It's them keeping control of what's sitting on top of it and keeping those two people in balance all the time.
Right.
What you don't know is it
actually
is impacting you.
I'm sure it is. If you tell me to some of the companies, I'm sure it is.
We have very, very large, some of the world's largest customers around. One of them is Citicorp. And we're monitoring middleware, the cream of the Oreo, in 110 countries.
Oh, my.
So you may not see it, feel it, taste it, or touch it, but it's involved with you.
And that's becoming more and more, Charlie, every day. A lot of people don't realize. We've talked to people here where they study and analyze the convenience of using websites. What does the consumer want? What does the IT people want? What does the industry want? What do they want to do with their website? What does Bank of America want to do to make your banking experience a much more enjoyable experience? Not only secure. Everybody says, go give me the security, to hell with everything else. No. Because if you can go there and transfer money instantly, if you can go there and check on a check instantly, and have the confidence, exactly what Nastel is saying to me today, is on the bottom, John, here's the platform. On the top, it's your action that's going to happen. But in the middle, we're there to make sure that top guy and bottom guy play nice together. It's one big sand pile. Let's all play nicely.
You got it.
And I love it. I love it. I didn't know. I learned that today.
Oh, good.
And I really appreciate it.
I'm happy. I tried to keep it as straightforward as I could.
You did. You did a great job.
And it's important.
Okay, you can go now.
You know, well, before I make my hasty retreat, there was something else I wanted to mention too.
You got all the time in the world. Whatever you need.
We're real excited to be, in addition to being at Impact, which is an exciting opportunity for us to meet, with customers that we have already and potential new ones. We also have announced a new product. In addition to that, we've had record growth this year. We've grown by 25% revenue.
Why? In an area of recession, why? How can you make that statement?
Because it's critical to these businesses. Now, what's interesting is...
Critical why?
I'll tell you. A lot of these firms have realized that it costs so much more to acquire a new customer than retain an old one.
Yes.
So if you're not providing the service that they need, they can lose a customer. I'll give you an example. One of our customers is Sky. This is a telecommunications company that provides direct-to-home satellite.
Right.
Now, they had a situation where they wanted to put in place a triple play and a quadruple play for competitive reasons, but their IT staff was tied up keeping their existing infrastructure running. You mentioned the Band-Aids before, and there was no one left to build a new services like triple plays and quadruple plays. So customers were leaving. Imagine you decide you want to order a movie tonight.
Yeah.
And you click, and you're entitled, and then the screen goes dark and nothing happens. After a few times that happens, you switch to someone else. So the rationale here as to why we're doing better, businesses are realizing, I better improve that order process because I need to keep my customer satisfaction, high, because that way I avoid having to go find new customers.
Well, isn't that what we said almost right in the beginning when we started talking, when I said to you, you only get a chance at a customer one time?
That's right.
And if you get them back the second time, you better perform, otherwise you're never going to get them again.
Right.
Somebody might come back because they're going to say, you know what, maybe they had a bad day. Maybe something was wrong. But if you don't pay attention. So during the recession, people turn to Nastel for not only the comfort level that things are being monitored and taken care of, but also it was it was an insurance policy.
You bet.
It was a big insurance policy to make sure that their customer base, no matter what it is, was kept satisfied.
Right.
Number one.
I've looked at
customer
research.
satisfaction.
I agree. I've looked at research from CIOs, and they talk about customer satisfaction as being one of their top goals in 2011 because they see right away, I have to keep these customers.
Charlie, I'm going to tell you what I do. With the radio show, we get a lot of product to look at. A lot. A consumer level product. I get something in, and I'm not a geek by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, I don't play around with it too much. You know what the first thing I do before I give it to somebody to test for me?
What's that?
I pick up the phone and call customer service.
Ah, yes.
If I get somebody that says their name is John Wayne, I hang up the phone. If I get call me back in 20 minutes, you can't have the cash for this deal today, that. If it's not an American-based customer service center, and I can't get the answer to a solution that I need, I don't want to talk to you. And you know what? I don't want your product either.
So if it's a guy named Peggy, that's when you hang up?
Yeah.
I've seen that commercial.
Yeah.
I've seen that. Well, it's true because the complexity in these
products. And you're
products.
doing the same thing.
The complexity in these products is high.
Sure.
And you're a customer for life, right? This is not a one-time.
Well, it's so competitive. Let me put it that way.
But you want to not just have a good buying experience. No. You want to have a good support experience.
Absolutely. Support to me is more important.
Yes.
Because everything is built to work, but everything is also built to break.
Of course.
We all know that a hard drive is going to stop one day. And it's going to happen. It's inevitable. It's going to happen. Now, what precautions you take in the meantime, it's entirely up to you.
That's right.
If you don't pick up the phone and call me and say, hey, I got a problem. Well, how many times do I need to tell you? Back it up.
Yep.
It's like the people that call up the radio show and say, John, you're not a big fan of Facebook. I said, I love Facebook. What are you talking about? I think Facebook's a marvelous tool, used properly. Well, I don't think that it's, that's secure and everything. So as I'm talking to the person, I'm doing a little typing on my machine as I'm talking. And I say, but Calvin, why would you just tell everybody in the world that you're going to Italy for the next 2 weeks? Mm-hmm. Why don't you just put a sign on the outside? Save yourself a lot of aggravation. Just put a sign. Doors are unlocked, windows are open, so please don't break anything.
Jules are in the master bedroom.
Take everything, please. It's the mentality of the people. And that's where true. I'm seeing... That's where I see the excitement for your product.
Very true. No, it's true. And that success, besides, growth of 25%, we've recently closed business with 3 of the largest banks in the world.
Wow.
And a couple of these deals were in the multi-millions.
Wow.
So we're very excited. I got news about one today that was just making us very happy.
I'm sure.
That's great.
I'm sure.
So go out into the Strip and celebrate, please.
Yeah.
That is our plan to do that tonight.
We need your excitement.
That is
That's
our plan
right.
to do that tonight.
Las Vegas
your
is
contributions.
recovering. You might be lucky to find a slot machine that'll break. If you do, don't call the IT people.
That's right.
Don't call the IT people. Sharon, take it for a second. I'm trying to
So
fix something.
what do you see coming down the road?
Coming down the road, I see that more and more of this talk about cloud will start becoming part of the mainstream.
Right.
There's been so much focus on that, and I think the growth in processing power, the growth in managing these things and monitoring these things will improve, and this eventually can make our life better and hopefully lower costs, for things like utilities. Because if the cost to monitor things can reduce and the cost to management, those are built into the pricing structures
Absolutely.
of the things that we buy. So if we can move those down to a lower notch and keep them much more affordable, then potentially the prices we pay for things can change as well too. I think that can be positive for our country and the world.
What perpetuates Nastel's think tank? Where do you get your ideas from?
Starbucks.
The business or the coffee?
The coffee, definitely. I wrote to them once and said I'd like a T-shirt that says "Powered by Starbucks."
There you go.
There you go.
And so far I haven't gotten it, but definitely I would say the caffeine.
Well, what you need to do is go out and make that T-shirt yourself. You see how fast you'll hear from them.
Yeah, you bet.
Do you listen to the customer base?
Absolutely. I was giving a flip answer.
Yeah.
No.
That's
No,
good.
of course, we talk to our customers. In fact, it's interesting. We had one of our customers here. In fact, this was this morning. Barclays Capital came.
Okay.
A gentleman named Stephen Neal, who's their global director of middleware for the whole world. And he gave a presentation on how to monitor low latency middleware. There's that word again.
Yeah.
So this is, think of that as the cream in the Oreo there, but by putting low latency in, it gets even sweeter.
There you go.
Nice.
It's even sweeter.
Nice.
So he uses Nastel software to monitor their middleware estate. Now, since he's a UK person, he calls their IT, data center, he calls it an estate.
Okay.
It's very royal.
Yeah.
Yes,
But
yes.
that is the term they use. And he uses Nastel together with his IBM environment and his Solus middleware appliance and monitors their environment and has done very, very well to improve their business. And he gave a presentation for about an hour this morning, and we had a room that was completely full with folks standing.
Nice.
So we were pretty happy that he spoke, and he was successful, and that folks came to hear it. It was a nice testament.
We just spent the last half hour or so with Charles Rich, who's the Vice President of Marketing and Product Management for Nastel. And just remember the name Nastel. If you have a tough time understanding what they do, just think of the Oreo cookie. And they ought to cream. Charlie, thanks so much for stopping by.
You're welcome. Thank you.
I really appreciate it. Sharon, let's take ourselves a little bit of a break. We don't have much time in between interviews.
That's right.
We can stretch a little bit, then we can come back with Impact 2011, 2011, whichever way you prefer. It's at the Venetian in Las Vegas, and it's all about IBM and their partners, and what they're doing to make the world a better planet. Isn't it amazing, huh? Take care. We'll be right back.
Thank you for listening to this Computer Outlook Radio Talk Show Special Edition with John Iasulo and Sharon Fry. Listen to all of the special edition shows and daily broadcast shows by visiting www.computeroutlook.com and clicking on Media Archives. The Computer Outlook Radio Talk Show streams live on the Internet Tuesday through Thursday, 5 to 6 p.m. Pacific Time. Also join us for Java with John on Sunday from 10 to 11. Don't miss a minute, because if you miss a minute, you'll miss a lot.